In this video, we are going to talk about the three key mindsets that you as a business seller must develop in order to maximize your chances of selling your business and selling it for the best possible price. And the reason that these three mindsets are so important is because they will help you to motivate and persuade the best, most qualified business buyers who are out there. Now, here is one of those business buyers, a member of the 10%. Meaning they're a buyer who can actually buy. They're a prospect who's actually qualified to buy. They've saved their money. They've educated themselves about the process of buying a business. And they're motivated and driven by the dream of owning a business, the desire to control their own destiny. In other words, ultimately they're motivated by things that a job can't give them. And that's why they will be willing to take the risks and put in the effort and the work it takes to buy and run a business. Now, this person is qualified to buy this business because of the price range and because of the money that they've saved. It also means that she is qualified to buy other similar types of businesses in her area, and not just one or two, but 3 or 4 or 5. Remember that many business buyers, first-time buyers, the majority of buyers, they're not necessarily interested in owning a particular type of business. Again, they're interested in that dream of owning and controlling their own destiny. And so they will look at all of the businesses that they're qualified to look at. That could be 2, or if they live in a big city, that could be 22. The thing is, the buyers, the kind of people you want to be talking to, are unique, they're qualified, they have a lot of options. So it's imperative that you don't become dependent on that one buyer, because they have a lot of options. They might choose something other than, they might choose a business other than yours through no fault of your own. So what you have to do is create some options for yourself. The biggest mistake that a seller can make is becoming dependent on or falling in love with one prospect. They're so anxious to sell, they find one good prospect, the first person that responds to their business for sale ad. They can't wait to sell them the business, so they stop looking. And then that person holds all the cards. And as we saw with the example of this woman, the kind of person that you're looking for has a ton of options. You can't become dependent on them. You have to create options for yourself so that you'll be on an even footing with them. And the way you do that is you adopt the 3 mindsets that we want to talk about in this video. The mindset that you're a competitor. You're going to compete for a buyer the same way that you compete for customers for your business. That you are going to lead the interaction. You're going to take the initiative. You are going to set up the next meeting or the next phone call. You're not passively going to wait for them to call you. And 3, the mindset that you're always on the lookout. Sure, you're working with this guy who says that, he talks a good game, he seems ready to buy, but you're still going to be looking for other people to add to your prospect list. You're not going to become dependent on just this one person. So mindset number 1, you want to adopt the mindset that you're going to compete with all those other businesses that are for sale out there. Just like in running your business all these years, you've competed with the businesses that are similar to you for your customers. You have to compete with all the other businesses that are out there that are for sale. So you've got to be aggressive in your marketing, in your advertising. You can't just rely on one classified ad in the newspaper, or your banker is going to refer somebody to you. You have to use all of those methods, just like you would use a lot of different methods to expand and market your business, because you have to have a lot of people out there who initially get interested in your business in order to find one who has to buy. So another way of saying this, the mindset is you're going to be aggressive in marketing and promoting the business. And after you've done that and you find a prospect or two, you absolutely have to be the one who takes responsibility for moving the deal forward to the next stage, making sure that the next step happens. You always have to establish clearly with the buyer and with their partner or with their spouse exactly when the next meeting is going to be or when the next phone discussion will take place. What a lot of people do is They run an ad, they get some response. A couple people are serious, so they'll sign your what do we call it? Confidentiality agreement. And so then you send them some papers, some financial overview on your business, and then you sit back and wait. When you send somebody information on your business, you need to tell them, I'm going to call you the first of next week. Or if it's early in the week, tell them, I will call you over the weekend. And then call them when you say you're going to call them. Let them always know they can always contact you, but that you are going to call them. You are going to follow up. When you've talked with them several times and it's time for them to come in and tour your facilities, don't wait for them to ask. Tell them, things are going well. The next step is for you to come in and take a tour of our office and our warehouse, and then set up a time to do that. Don't wait for them to ask. The thing you have to remember is out of sight, out of mind. Just like the woman that we looked at in an earlier slide who's surrounded by businesses, when you hang up the phone with a prospect, they're not spending their time thinking about you. And if you're not following up, the other business sellers that have been in contact with this prospect, they are going to follow up. And that person is going to buy the business from the most aggressive seller. So again, out of sight, out of mind. When you hang up the phone with that prospect or you say goodbye, they don't go home and think about your business alone. They're looking at all of their options. And if you don't follow up, you're going to get forgotten. And that leads us to the next thing. And this is the most important concept, is that the biggest mistake business sellers make is that they find one prospect. That prospect talks a good game. They stop marketing. They stop looking for new prospects. They fall in love with that person. They believe everything that they say, and then they become totally dependent on that person. They know this person is going to buy their business. You don't know that person's going to buy your business. When you're working with buyers, until you get to a letter of intent, you have to keep looking for more buyers because most people are going to drop out. And the biggest mistake sellers make is that they think they can predict the future. They know this prospect is going to buy. You don't know that, and you can't become dependent on them because 9 times out of 10, they'll let you down. Prospects are either not qualified or motivated to buy business, which means they're not going to buy anybody's business, or they are qualified, which means that they can buy any business that is similar to you in size and price range. So don't think you know what people are going to do. You don't know. We have this saying in the business brokerage and the business for sale field, having one prospect is the same as having none. If you just have one prospect, especially if they know that they are your only prospect, they're in the driver's seat. Not only will they try to dicker you down on the price and nitpick and rock bottom you, but they'll delay. There's no urgency. And so having one prospect is like having none because chances are your one prospect isn't going to buy. And then you're back to literally having no prospects. Again, this is the key to everything in your mindset, is that the 10 percenters who can actually buy have options. And it's quite possible that through no fault of your own, the prospect you have, your favorite prospect, might choose to buy someone else's business through no fault of your own, through things that you can't control. And you don't know what's coming. So don't try to predict the future, because the unknown, the unexpected, the things you couldn't imagine happening are going to happen. That's why 9 out of 10 people don't buy. 9 out of 10 times, things happen. They back out. They buy a different business. Don't predict the future, and don't become a victim of unexpected circumstances. Get multiple prospects. Be aggressive when you find them. Be the one to follow up and set the agenda. So summarizing, the type of person who can buy your business is rare. Because of that, they have a lot of options. If they can buy your business, they can buy anyone's business. And when they're not around you, when they're not in your presence or on the phone with you, you have to assume they're not focused on you. They're looking at other businesses. They're getting phone calls from other sellers. You only have so much control over that. So all you can do is be as aggressive as you can be and create as many options for yourself as you can, especially through mindset number 3. And I say this is the most important mindset when it comes to selling your business quickly and getting the best price and getting the best terms, because the cost of acquiring one additional qualified prospect is nothing compared to the impact that they can have on the sale of your business. And additional prospects, the second, the third, the fourth prospect, don't just improve the price, but they motivate each other. If I'm your only prospect, I can delay all I want. But if I know you've got a second, a third, and a fourth prospect, and I want your business, I have to do something now. So mindset number 3 of always being on the lookout for more prospects, what that means is that the people who are qualified prospects but don't buy your business have an impact on your sale. The second, the third, the fourth prospects who ultimately don't buy, they impact the way other people, other prospects behave. They keep the price up. They create urgency because the other prospects don't want the business bought out from under them. So the prospects who don't buy have a big impact on the sale. And so that's why you want as many prospects as you can find. And in the next video, we're going to talk in more detail about how each additional prospect that you find has a positive effect on the price and the terms of the sale. Even if they don't buy, they impact the price that you get for the business. And we're going to talk more in detail about that in the next video, and we'll see you then.